Now let's count frequencies. Now here, with such a small data set, it's a little bit silly to do this, but we're doing it here where we can see everything, and then we'll expand on that in a little bit. So what I want to do here is I want to create bins where I'm going to count up how many fives, how many twos, how many ones, and so forth for each of these trials. So we call those bins. And the way it works in these spreadsheets is this number 1 is saying, okay, that's going to look for all numbers in my data that are less than or equal to 1. Okay, so this is really a less than or equal to 1. So if I had negative numbers in here, it would also count those. And then this next number 2, so it's less than or equal to 2, but since I have the 1, it's greater than 1. So the equality goes with the top number, and then so if I have a 1, it will go with this bin up here. A 2 will go with the bin there. If I had a 1.5, it would also go with the 2. And so that's what these bins are doing. They're collection points. And 3, 4. Now, if I, once I do that, I'll highlight. My numbers can go up to 9. Now, this last one, there's no reason for you to do this unless it just helps, but I'm going to put a yellow background on that because when we go to find the frequencies of each of the numbers, we're not actually going to use this space, because the other thing that the frequency command does that we're going to look at is that, okay, here we're going to fill stuff in over here, but it's going to look over here and say, oh, 8, so we want all numbers 8 or less. Then this last one, it's going to take all numbers bigger than 8. So we don't actually want to give the 9. Now, and mostly that's because, well, I want the spreadsheet to do what I think it's doing. And if I include that 9, then actually, and I fill in here, it's not actually doing what I think it's doing. Because if I include the 9, it will look at that and say, oh, take all numbers 9 or less. But if I happen to have a number that was like 9.5, it would never get counted. Okay, so by not including the 9, everything in here is going to be bigger than 8. And that's just a good thing to do, and that's the way the spreadsheet command works. And therefore, if you do it incorrectly, the spreadsheet won't be counting what you think it's counting. And so you want to learn, what the heck it's counting. So here I'm going to put trial 1. And on my spreadsheet, I think, if I type a word and then end it with a number, and I drag like this across by grabbing that bottom right corner, see, it automatically updates it to trial 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's great. Okay, now this is a vector command, is what this is called. So this is a little different than other commands you've done. And it has to fill in all of these spaces at once. So notice how I highlighted it. Now, if I go back here and click on it, it's unhighlighted. It won't work right. So I have to click in the middle, bring the cursor down or the mouse down, and I'm highlighting all those spaces. Then I need to type it. Well, I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can definitely see the words as I'm doing it. So notice I don't click again, it's highlighted, I type equals. and the command is frequency. That's nice because that's what I want, is frequency. Then an open parenthesis, and it says get your data first. Here's my data for trial 1. I go highlight that. So those 9 numbers. Then a comma. And then I need my bins. Now, here's a funny thing that can happen is I need to fill in bins, but notice how this sort of is sitting over here on top of the first bin I need. I'm not sure this is going to work. We'll see. It did. Okay, so it worked okay. If it doesn't, you can just get out of there, start over, but make your columns wider. Okay, so there I started at F2, I pulled down to F9, which is the 8. Notice I did not do the 9, not that last one. And that's the right thing to do, okay? You always highlight one more row than you use in your bins, this way. The 9 is used, but it doesn't care that it's a 9. I could have put, you know, baboon in here and it wouldn't care. And it would still count the numbers greater than 8. Okay, so I do that, then close parenthesis, and now here's the hard part, and I can't really show it to you on the screen here, but I'm holding down the Control and the Shift key, both of them, and I'm holding them down while I talk. I could wax poetically all day long. You don't want to hear that, but my point is it does nothing while I'm holding those down. Okay, I'm holding down the Control and Shift key. They're just down. That's there. Now, with them held down, I hit enter. And with that, you see, I got all my numbers. And notice, okay, how many 1s are there over here? 1, 2. 2 1s. How many 2s? 1 of them. How many 3s? 1 of them. How many 4s? There aren't any 4s, so 0. How many 5s? 1 of them. How many 6s? 1 of them. How many 7s? 2 of them. 1 there, 1 there. And how many 8s? 0 of them. And how many 9s? 1 of them. Or bigger than 8. 1. And that 9 right there. And so that filled that in very nicely. Now what would be nice is for copy and paste or fill in or something like that, if I could just grab this bottom right, pull it over like this, and notice down in that gray box it says ssArrayFormula. So I call it a vector command. I think actually Microsoft calls it array formulas. But notice when I do that, error, bummer. So I'm going to go up here and undo. Okay, I can't copy and paste and fill in that way. However, if I have this whole thing highlighted and I do a copy, anyway, you know, Control C or whatever, and then I highlight everything I need to fill in and I do a paste, it, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I know I forgot something. That's always good to see, is, you know, I can forget stuff too. So I'm going to go backspace, or I could have done an undo. I forgot something in my formula, and real quick, I'm just going to do this once again. So copy, paste it here, and that time, you know, it seems to work, except that's not right. You know, if I come back over here, right, the frequency here, 0, there are 0 1s. Well, that's true. How many 2s? Because I want to look at the 2s. How many 2s? 1. Oh, this said 0. You know, and it, you know, gave me really weird numbers here. Well, why? Well, if I, okay, now, and So this, we'll just have to do the best we can. I'll probably have to undo things to make it work right. But this could happen to you. It says you cannot change only a part of an array. When you do an array, if you click on just one part of it and try to do something, it doesn't like that. And I say, okay. And so then I try clicking again. And now nothing's happening. So I highlight it and I say, okay, oh wait, no, there's the error again. And you can get cycling on that all the time. Now let me go down here and just show you let's see, I'll click there, I get the error. Now, on a lot of spreadsheets, if you look over here, there are different things. I know on Excel there's a red X or a big X, and you can, if you get stuck inside this endless looping of this error, you can go over here and, well, I guess I need to say okay first, I think. But you can click a red X over there and it will get you out of all that stuff. Okay, so highlight that, it's wrong, get rid of it. Now the problem here is, again, I don't think I can make it nice and big where you can see this, right? See, it gives the error. And so I'm going to talk about it up here and then type it in the right way. Up here, when you look at this, it says A3 to A11. Well, remember, if I do a copy and paste it here, it should then say B3 to B11. Okay, so copy, paste, and looking up here, it says B3 to B11. Well, that's wrong. That's not where the bins are. The bins are in, oh, sorry, data. I get mixed up too. That's looking at the data, but here are the G's. See, the G's are looking here for the bins. The bins are the second set of numbers. It's looking in the wrong place. And so I get rid of that. Again, here it should be F's. And so I have to use dollar signs. And I don't really have a nice way to show it big. I can come up here in this and click in front of the F. Oh, and there it finally shows it. If I click in front of the F, I'm going to add a dollar sign in front of the F, and there you see it. And then in front of the second F, I'm going to add a dollar sign. And so that makes it so the F's don't change. I have to do a Control, Shift, and Enter again. And now, if I do my copy and paste, whoa, there's a chart I made. We'll get to that in another thing. Paste, come back here, and there it worked. Or at least it looks like it probably did. We can check. Let's check trial 3 here. There were 2 1s. Yeah, I see 2 1s. 1 2 1 3 and 1 4. 2 3 4. 0 5 6 7. Nope. Yeah, no 5 6 or 7. And 2 8s. Yeah, I see 2 8s and 2 9s. So trial 3 is working. There I got the frequencies. And so that is how you can count up frequencies. You have to have the bins, and then you go back and look at your data, and you have to use that array formula or vector command to fill that in. It will take you some practice, most likely, but that's also why I do it on this very small data set first and have you do it so that you can see what's going on, you can check your answers and make sure they're okay. All right, so we'll call that good for that video.